In 1587, John White set out from his colony on Roanoke Island to England. This trip was essential for the survival of the settlement, as food shortages and hostilities from the Native Americans made life difficult. So John's mission was to get supplies and help for his colony. After 3 years, John finally returned to the colony with his goal accomplished. He was excited. Besides bringing the provisions for his colonists, he would see his family again, especially his granddaughter, who was born right before he left for England. But on his return, he noticed something was off. The colony was fortified and in good shape, yet completely empty. John couldn't find his family or any other colonist. He searched the surrounding area but found nothing. He could not figure out why or how they were gone. Many people after John tried looking for these colonists but came up empty. Even to this day, archaeologists cannot find a trace of them. No explanation can be given for where or why these colonists disappeared. Another disappearance that is just as bewildering as those colonists on Roanoke Island is when someone ghosts you. And the frustrating part about being ghosted is that it's usually done to us by people that we don't know too well. So how do we stop this? Well, I'm going to answer that in this video, but before I do, let's get to the basics. The reason why it hurts when we get ghosted by people that we don't know too well has to do with the 9-letter word: neediness. Listen, I know this is harsh because I've had my fair share of being needy, but just think about it. If you're allowing someone that you don't know too well to have an effect on you, that says that you're being needy. There's no other way to put it. Because if we're being brutally honest, someone that you just met, their actions should not affect you because there should be little to no emotional investment in them. Yet, when you're allowing their actions like ghosting to hurt you or bring you down, that shows that you put way too much emotional investment into someone that does not deserve it. And as a result, that gives them the power of affecting you while your actions does nothing to them. Sometimes we wonder, don't people know that ghosting hurts? And it's true, ghosting hurts, it sucks. However, you have to realize that most people, if not all, they're not thinking about others or how their actions affect other people. They're thinking about themselves. And then when it comes to new people, that's way in the back of their mind. So with that being said, you have to realize that most people that you meet, especially in the initial stages, they're not going to be thinking about you much, if ever. So we only want to put our emotional energy and emotional investment into people that have earned it. But how can this be done? To stop yourself from being needy and giving others more power than they deserve involves one thing. It's not a complicated thing. In fact, you're probably well acquainted with this through your line of work. If satisfaction is not met, businesses will be lost, people will get fired, and failure will be imminent. What am I talking about? I'm talking about standards. To stop being needy, you have to set standards with the types of relations you want. I know this sounds counterintuitive. We seem to put more effort into getting the connections we want with others, but listen to me. With standards, you have a guideline of the relations you want. So if someone does not meet them, you know not to invest in them. Standards are here to remind you who is worthy of your time and energy. For instance, if a standard in your relations is to interact with others who are interested in you, well, with that one criterion, you can tell that someone who ghosts you is not interested in you. And when you hold people to your standards, you will get hurt less. In fact, you'll wonder why you even let people who did not meet your standards in the first place to have so much power over you. All interactions with new people have to meet your standards. This way you can invest more efficiently in people who like you and meet your criteria, and not lose sleep for people who don't. People who have standards tend to be mature. And the reason why I say that is because mature people tend to understand this one fact of life. They understand that some people will be a part of their lives and some people won't, and that's fine. And because they're able to understand that one fact, they come off as confident and just being comfortable with who they are, which all leads to living an authentic life where you don't get bogged down by insignificant things. And in the process, this makes creating friendships a lot simpler, this makes dating a lot simpler, this makes finding out a career a lot simpler, etc. A mature person knows what they deserve, and they're gonna hold other people to their standard. However, Some of you guys might feel unprepared to have your own standards. The beauty about standards is that it starts teaching you how to be courageous. And the reason why I say that is because when you have your standards and you start holding people accountable, well, sometimes that's going to lead to conflict. And if you truly believe in your standards, you're gonna have the courage to participate in that conflict. And in that conflict, there's two things that's gonna happen. It's either people are gonna start respecting your standards or they're going to leave. And in the end, it doesn't really matter because it shows that you're a person that's willing to respect yourself and the standards that you have, and you're not gonna ask for any less. Now, I know some of you might still feel very uncomfortable with having standards and holding people to account, but listen, you don't have to make big leaps or anything. Just start off small. For example, why not start off with a standard of where being respected in your communications with others? So say for example, a friend that you text and they take 7 days to respond. If that's the case, call them out on it, because you want to have a standard where there's respectful communication going back and forth in a timely manner. Because trust me, in this day and age of being connected, there's no excuse for someone not responding to your text within a day, right? So yeah, start off small and then go off there, because you have to remember this, guys. You need to develop the courage to have the life that you want, and that requires holding people to your standards. And like I said in my previous video from a few weeks ago, you don't need confidence. What you need is courage. Courage is the most important thing you can have. And if you want to have those high quality standards, well, you best believe that you better have the courage to hold people to account. And I learned this painful truth during my NoFap days. I know I bring up my NoFap days a lot, but it's one of those periods of my life that was so revealing. It indeed was one of the best times of my life, but I digress. Before NoFap, I was a typical insecure person. And whenever I got a phone number of a girl I was interested in, I was excited. So like my excited self would do, I would send a text right away. But after an hour, I got nothing. Then 6 hours, still no response. A whole damn week, nothing. This would crush me. I'd be wondering, why won't they respond? This cycle happened countless times, and each cycle would reinforce the negative thoughts in my head, such as, I'm not attractive, or I'll forever be alone. And this caused me to stop dating for a while. Then I found NoFap on Reddit. I was intrigued and decided to give it a try. And over the next 100 days of NoFap, I felt different. I felt more sure of myself, something that I can't ever recall feeling. So with all this self-assurance, I decided that, you know what? I'm gonna start dating again. And I went on more dates than the past 2 years combined. And after going on a date, some girls would ghost me, but it didn't bother me that much. It would annoy me, but it wasn't as devastating. In fact, I unconsciously created a standard for myself. I only wanted girls that would reciprocate interest. So instead of putting a pause on dating like usual, I kept going and moved on from girls that ghosted me. And then I found someone who met my standards. Then I found another. This was such an odd position for me because I never had multiple girls interested in me at the same time. And this all came down to unconsciously following my standards. This made me realize how much time I wasted on girls that were not interested in me. I felt embarrassed to have been so needy and allowed girls that I didn't know so well to bring me down. Having standards made me realize that it was up to me to hold the girls that I wanted to date to them. This way, I didn't get bogged down by those not interested, and I got to spend more time with those that were. I hope my NoFap journey inspires you to have a similar trajectory with your dating life and hopefully even your social life. However, you have to make sure that you don't fall for this one mistake. One of the issues with having standards is that people forget about them, especially when they're starting off. So one of the things you want to do is, you don't want to hold your standards in your head. What you want to do instead is, you want to write them down on a piece of paper, and you want to be looking at that piece of paper daily until your standards are part of you mentally. Because when you're out engaging with the world and you have your challenges, adversity, and all that comes with being human, it can be very easy to forget your standards. However, you have to take personal responsibility in remembering them. And doing something as simple as looking at them, say in the morning or before you go to bed, will help to have your standards in your head, unconsciously helping you guide you throughout your day-to-day living. And the best way for me to help you at this point is to summarize this video. The reason getting ghosted by new people hurts us is due to being needy. The way to stop being needy is to have standards. When interacting with new people, standards will help you determine who to invest in. Having standards in your life is all part of being a mature and integrated individual. You may not feel confident enough to have standards, but holding others to your standards requires courage. And as you practice courage, you will become confident. A common mistake is to forget about your standards. You need to make them a part of your memory. Otherwise, you will fall into the same cycle of getting hurt when ghosted. Being a mature person is a journey. And a topic like ghosting, even though it seems petty, can be quite revealing about someone's character. And for a mature person, when it comes to ghosting, it's not a big deal, especially when they have standards. So in this video, I definitely hope that you're gonna start adopting standards and start your process in becoming a mature individual. So the next time someone disappears on you, you're not gonna be as baffled as John White. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Thank you again for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter for some exclusive content. But guys, remember, you're not just any type of nerd. You're a charismatic nerd.